Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, hit you while I'm there. Idle champions, you reset again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icewind Dale, head out to Chull or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, hit you while I'm there. Idle champions, you reset again. Idle champions.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. I am he who is named in the title of the show. That's how this works. With me today in the production booth is Gabe. Gabe will be grabbing questions today, watching over chat, generally being awesome, because that's what Gabe does. That's what Gabe does. The topic of today's tutorial show is Midwinter, Year 7. Midwinter, the current event. But we do have to quote Ricardo's Guide to the Middle of Winter. It's cold, y'all. It's cold here. I don't know if it's cold everywhere where you are. We're in the middle of or I guess the beginning of a cold wave. We're still in the teens in Fahrenheit. But tomorrow it goes into the single digits and we get snow and it stays cold for a while. Oh, it is definitely midwinter. It's it's midwinter stream. That means it's a chill stream. Yes, exactly. So for those of you who are new to these streams, the tutorial shows, the first hour I talk on the topic, again, Midwinter Year 7, today. And then the second hour we do a Q&A. But you can ask questions at any time by putting them in the chat, as it says down below, question : in front of your question. Gabe is in part here to grab those questions from chat, put them in a little document I have over here on my screen, so that when we get to the second half, I can make sure I address all the questions. But for the first half, I'm going to be talking about events in general. We'll talk about Midwinter specifically, because that's what we're doing today. And then we're going to talk about all 3 champions you can get in Midwinter, and that's specifically Rust on the Harbor, Fen, and what's her name? What's that champion from Baldur's Gate 3 that was my favorite? Karlach. Come on. Karlach is the best. Karlach is the best. Karlach finally has arrived in Idle Champions, and I'm so happy. So I guess we're going to dive right in. So normally, when you're doing, when you're playing Idle Champions, this is the kind of screen you're going to see. You're going to see the map. You're going to see campaigns on the left, time gates, trials. If you've unlocked trials, you'll see trials. That's an unlockable content for those of you who don't have that button. But when an event arrives, right at the top, you get Midwinter. Look at that! I hit it. I was sneaky. I was so sneaky. You get the Midwinter button. When you click on it, there's just one adventure node, and there's 3 adventures. If I can actually click on it, one for Rust, one for Fen, and one for Karlach. And the way this works is, initially it's going to be just the unlock adventures. The reward down here is going to be the champion themselves. And the cost will be, I think it's 25 for Rust, 25 for Fen, 100 for Karlach, just to be able to take part. And when I say cost, we're talking about event tokens. This event, they are gift boxes. You can see up here in the top right, there is favor and there are tokens. And those tokens accrue, the gift boxes accrue just by playing the game. Anywhere in the game, as long as you're killing things, once every 25 seconds a gift box will drop and you can pick it up. And as you collect those over time, over the 12 days of the event, you will be able to spend them on event participation. So again, the starting adventures, fairly inexpensive. It is super easy to obtain champions here in Idle Champions. The challenge is in gearing them up, right? You've got to slowly accrue gear over time, and you can earn a lot in events. As you can see, I have a lot of gift boxes. That's more than you can earn normally. Again, one every 25 seconds is how they drop. There's no way to speed that up. However, those bounty contracts you get out of gold chests, those can be used to get more gift boxes during an event, tokens during an event. If you open those, or if you consume those bounty contracts during an event, you will earn extra tokens. That's how people like me and many others grab outrageous amounts of tokens right when an event starts and earn lots and lots of gear. Because the thing is along with unlocking each of these champions, once you've unlocked them, and it looks more like this with variants and it says free play, the little grayed out reward here is actually, one of the rewards is a random chest for the champion. So there's, they look different for each champion. So depending on which one you do, you're going to earn a random chest. And by random, it can be either silver or gold for that champion. There is most of them are going to be silvers. Let's just be straight up honest. It is a 1 in 3 chance to get a gold chest. However, events have a pity timer in them, some bad luck protection. If you do 3 Rust free plays in a row and you get 3 silvers, on the 4th free play, you will be guaranteed a gold chest. So you're guaranteed at least 1 gold chest out of every 4 free plays you do in an event. All you have to do is complete Area 50. You do not have to go further. Just complete Area 50. I usually set my Modron automation to 51 just to make sure. And that's it. That's all you got to do. That's how you don't have to go deeper. You don't have to do whatever to earn gear. However, when you're starting to earn favor, you need to do deep runs. On a new player account, I will treat the first 3 unlock missions as deep runs, and the goal is to try to get, we use scientific notation in this house, as you can see, try to get EO8 or higher favor. 5 EO8 favor will make all of the variants show as green, because this difficulty rating, if you are not aware, is tied solely to the favor you have. Okay, so as long as these show green, they should be doable. Shoot for 5 EO8. If you can hit E10 or above, like clearly I did, then all of these are going to be a breeze. That's just how events work. So once you start off again, do these unlock missions. This is my recommendation. Do each of the unlock missions first. Push deep in them to try to get favor. And then if you don't have EO8 favor or higher by that point, then do free plays to get more favor. I recommend ignoring the variants until they show as green like this, which means, again, you need to get over 5 EO8 favor. Once they show as green, time to start doing the variants. Okay, because the variant rewards, it doesn't show it here because I already got it, but is a gold chest, a guaranteed gold chest for that champion. So you're guaranteed 3 gold chests just from the variants. But each variant gets more and more difficult sometimes. But the completion areas will go up. They start at 75, they go to 125, and they go to 175. But the restrictions are the hard part. So it's the text in the box down here. Like all variants, the restrictions are the actual challenge. And that's what we're going to go over today. But first, let's talk about each of the unique formation layouts. So each champion basically has its own mini event. They get all the same enemies, but the formation layout is different. So here's Rust's. Looks maybe a bit like a boat with a mast, something like that, right? Because, you know, Rust, he loves the water. So unusual formation shape, and this kind of an unusual formation shape can make it challenging for newer players to push deep and earn favor. So generally, one of the things we're looking for, you should be able to do the variants just fine, but you may not want to push deep in Rusts. One of the things you want to look for is a good formation layout for pushing deep. This one, again, a little challenging, single tank, and it's stretched, right? It can be fine if you're a more established player, you've got a deeper bench, it can be totally fine. Newer players who are still tanking with Niali and using Brunor and stuff, this is not conducive to that. So you want to look for somewhere else to push deep. Fens is next up. Viable option. Single tank frontline, lots of adjacencies. This works perfectly great for new players for pushing deep. And then Karlach's, again, this is a double tank formation, but again, I think this is conducive for new players for pushing deep as well. It's fine that some of these are stretched, and not everything is adjacent, because not every champion when you're new wants to be adjacent. Like Makos likes to be kind of all the way back here in the tail and not near other people. The same with Tyrell, if you're using Tyrell as a support, and like a Moonbeamer instead of a Wild Shaper, which is a tank. They like to hang out in the back by themselves. But so Karlach's formation and Fen's formation, very good for deep pushing. For Rust, you're probably just going to want to, you're going to want to do the variants and bounce. And then, grinding to, doing area, going to area 51 over and over and over again just to get gear. Easy. Just not great for going deep. Okay, for free plays, the cost of free plays, I forgot to mention this. It starts at 500 gift boxes. Every time you do a free play, the cost goes up by 500. However, it caps at 2,500. So the most you'll ever pay is 2,500 for a free play. So a lot of people will rotate their free plays early on. Like they'll do enough to get it to 2,500, and then they'll go do over here, and then they'll go do over here. But at that point, the cost is going to be equal. It's going to be capped. Okay. At 2,500, that means to hit the pity timer each time for a gold chest, 10,000 tokens. 10,000 tokens for 1 gold chest, 3 silvers. I point this out because if you go in the shop, you can buy an event gold chest for a champion, but it costs 10,000 tokens. You don't want to do it in the shop. You want to do these free play runs. You get more gear out of it. Plus, you get the chance at potentially getting more gold chests, right? It's all RNG based. I've had events where I run the pity timer every time. I've also had one event over the last 6 years where I was just getting gold chests every time. So play the RNG game and do your free plays to get gear. Let's talk about each of the variants now. So again, each of the idea behind variants, the 3 variants that come for each champion, is that they're going to kind of hopefully teach you something about the champion. Since these are new, it's kind of going to lead you into learning about the champion. Oh, Gold Devourer. Okay, so I read the name and immediately remembered the boss. The Area 50 boss, which we usually just refer to as the boss of the adventure, because in most cases, the big bad is on Area 50 in Idle Champions, and then multiples of 50 after that. The boss in this in Midwinter is called the Devourer, capital T, capital D. Put some respect on their name. They're horrible. They're one of the most complained about bosses in Idle Champions. And it's because of their mechanics. So the Devourer used to walk out onto the screen, and I think my guide still says it walks out on the screen, but now it just appears on the screen. He's fixed. When you get to the boss area, he has I believe 50 hit-based health, and hit-based means it's segmented health, so you'll see little chunks, and there'll be 25 yellow ones, and when you get through those, there'll be 25 red ones. You got to get through all of it. Hit-based health means you have to hit it a certain number of times, so it doesn't even matter how much damage you're doing, you just need to hit the boss. Which means he's going to be out there on the screen devouring for 50 hits. Now, the quicker you can get those 50 hits in, the better. Also, you can click directly on him. Don't rely on your familiars. You can click directly on the Devourer to... Wolverine Cardoso, your tempting fate. You can click directly on the Devourer to try to... and that will also remove segmented health, but at a rate of 1 every, 5 or 6 seconds. So you can't just click through it, but it can help get you through it faster. But ultimately, you just got to hit it with everyone. And that means clearing out the trash mobs that spawn. There's 10 undead that spawn in front of it. You're going to need enough damage to clear those out so that everyone can focus on the Devourer. The downside is the Devourer doesn't attack you. He just devours you. What does this mean? This means there's when you load into that area, he's going to throw out this little leash, this little magical thing, and it's going to hit a champion at random, and that champion then leaves the formation and is in their belly. Literally, you can see them through the rib cage. They're out. They're no longer useful to you, and they're being devoured. There's a little timer above their head. That's the time until they're devoured. Once he devours your champion, he removes another one. So the longer you take to try to clear away the Devourer, the more of your champions you're going to lose. And if you haven't cleared out the undead enemies yet, you might not. So you have to go into Area 50 with a solid amount of power, more than on a normal event. This is a very boss-gated event. You probably won't push as far as you do in other events on this one because of this. A lot of times, if you're new, you're going to have to stop at 49. You're going to have to level up champions, just farm some gold, and then until you have enough power to try to get through it. Remember, your ultimates are important here, especially the multi-hit ones. On starting champions, that's like Celeste and Karlach, so they have multi-hit ultimates. Also, Nayeli can stun everything on the screen. Yeah, you gotta find a way to clear out all of those, the undead, the 10 undead, and then focus fully on the Devourer. It's rough. Like, the Devourer is rough. There's just no way around it. It just takes more power, which usually, when you're starting off, means more favor. All right, so Gold Devourer, because it wasn't enough just to have the Devourer. Rust begins in the formation. He can't be moved or removed from the formation, and they signify this with the capital C here. This is where Rust is going to be in the formation. When they say Rust begins in the formation, but they can be moved but not removed, you won't see a C because it means you can put them anywhere. But when they want it in a very specific place, when they want a champion in a very specific place, they'll put a C here. So this is where Rust is going to be, and you're going to have to build your formation around that. The Devourer appears as a secondary boss on Area 25. It must be defeated in order to advance. So double Devourers. 1 on 25, 1 on 50. So you're gonna have to deal with it even more often. Again, going in if this shows as easy, this is why I recommend this, because if it shows as easy, you have the favor to demolish things. Otherwise, you're in for a world of hurt. Gold find is reduced by 99%. Gold Devourer, right? So don't be super freaked out by this if you're newer. This is a game, so why we use scientific notation to refer to things. In this game, we're dealing with large numbers, large enough to need scientific notation. 99%, I'm just going to round up here. We're going to call it 100%. I know that's not what we're dealing with here, but they're saying they're reducing almost everything, but that's not true. This is 1% off from being EO2, which is scientific notation. The number after the E is how many places you're moving the decimal point. So 1 EO2 is the same as 100, is effectively what I'm saying. So if I look at this, if I were to go into this adventure, I'd be losing 99% of my favor, or my gold find, and gold find is a function of favor. That means I would go from E61 to E59. I don't care. That's nothing as long as I have large amounts of favor. This is why you want to get all three to show as easy first, because this needs a small amount of favor, this needs a medium amount of favor, and this needs a large amount of favor. If they all show as green, then this is not a problem. And this 99%, you're never even going to notice it. But if you try to go in when only this one shows as easy and these are red, this is going to be way tougher because you're losing a chunk of your favor, right? Gold find is increased by 200% for each champion with the gold roll stacking multiplicatively. That is a way you can overcome this. Started champions, you're really only going to have like a Jarlaxle. However, if you have Jarlaxle and Rust in, there's two. There's an increase in your favor. It should overcome the gold find on its own. Should. And that's it. That's it. There's going to be more to know because Rust does stuff. We'll talk about Rust in a bit. Rust does stuff with gold find, but we'll deal with that in a moment. So overall, as long as, in general, all of these, as long as they're showing as green easy, they should be doable. But definitely make sure everything shows as green before starting, is my recommendation. Deadwinter drama, only champions with a con of 14 or higher can be used. So there's the big restriction. You need a constitution score of 14 or higher to even participate in this. If you're missing champions, like if you can't fill out a full formation, for every empty formation slot or for every kind of junk champion, filler champion you put in just because they fit but they're not really doing anything, extra EO1 favor. Should let you just steamroll through it. Every area frozen skeletal archers that attack a random champion from range appear. So this means they'll be attacking your whole formation. These enemies don't drop gold, nor do they count towards quest progress. So just extra enemies that you're going to have to kill, and they'll hit anyone in the party. If any undead enemy attacks a champion, that champion is stunned for 1 second. So that's a problem too. This is going to slow down your ability to progress because you're going to have champions stunned a lot. Right? Because these frozen skeleton archers, if you're not killing them immediately, they're going to stun random people in your formation. So it's a bit of a slowdown mechanic, but the biggest restriction is the constitution score restriction. Heads or tails is the final variant for Rust. Rust begins in the formation. It says slot 6. That's what this number is. They start up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they count from the bottom, I believe. So that's just they're showing you here, though. Can't be moved or removed. When Rust is not holding his shiny gold piece, this is a function of Rust. Adjacent champion damage is disabled. When Rust is holding a shiny gold piece, non-adjacent champion damage is disabled. Rust has a mechanic where he either has he has one gold piece or he doesn't. There is a specialization that we'll talk about where you can make it so that he always has it. And that's kind of what I recommend here. Set it so that he always has it. So he is holding a shiny gold piece. It will disable non-adjacent champion damage, but that means you just need to put your DPS next to Rust, and you'll be able to do this. So it's his right-hand spec. I recommend a right-hand spec, and then your DPS adjacent to Rust when doing this one. And then it's fine. No big deal. All right, on defense. Midwinter Day. Yay. So Fen joins the formation, but she can be moved around. Mert joins the formation. That's the red X. Whenever they have a red X in the formation layout, that means there's an NPC joining your party or something that they've put into the party that's taking up a slot. You are down a champion, and thus you are down a champion's power, which means you need more power from somewhere. Where do you get that? Favor. Yeah. Only champions in Mert's column can deal damage. So they're going to want you to put your damage dealer in the middle column. So somewhere in here. Okay. That's it. Again, pretty straightforward. The hardest part is you just need favor to make up for missing a champion. But we see two red X's in the Ys and the Warlocks. That means we're missing 2 champions. That's a lot more power. So a lot more favor is going to be needed for this one. So again, Finn is required in the formation, but you can move her around. Vajra and Redeemed Zariel join the formation. They're here for moral support. So Vajra and Zariel are the ones that are going to be here. The reason they're bringing the patrons in is because Finn is a champion that has benefits for doing patron challenges, which we'll talk about shortly. All right, so you may only use Warlocks, Black Dice Society champions, or champions with Wisdom 15+. This is leaning into Finn's functionality and abilities. Potentially rough here. Again, lots of favor can overcome this, even if you don't have a lot of the champions that match. Oh, great, more mist. Final variant, Finn, once again required. The weather is foggy, so it's going to stay foggy unless you have somebody that changes the weather. You can't use champions with ranged attacks except for Desmond, because it's foggy, right? So this means you're going to use melee attack champions, or you're going to use magical attack champions. 1 to 2 zombies spawn with each wave. They don't drop gold, nor do they count towards quest progress. Not really a big deal. It's just some extra enemies you got to deal with, but not overly problematic. Strahd spawns as a second boss in each boss area. This is the problem. He must also be defeated to progress. Strahd is a pain. So there's the 4th patron showing up in her variants, but as an enemy. Strahd's rough. So you're just going to have to learn how to deal with Strahd. Strahd requires you to multi-hit and stun. So how do you do this? You got to have, Finn has some multi-hit capabilities. She's got bud damage with all of her attacks, which can help. But you need, Nayeli has a full screen lockdown. You got to stun Strahd. If you got knockbacks, like Ashara has a knockback. Anybody with some crowd control that can keep Strahd away from your party while you destroy them is going to be required. Absolutely required. So this one's going to be rough. This one, again, I said 5e08 is usually enough to get all of these done, but really this one, because of the challenge here, you might need E10 or more favor. It's going to depend on what your champion pool is, ultimately. If you've got champions that are just perfect for this, no big deal. But if you don't, problem. One thing you can do to kind of test this out, you test everything except for the Strahd part, is to go into a free play and then only put champions in your formation that have the melee or magical icons next to their base attack. So as long as it's not showing the arrowhead, then you can use them. Build out a formation, something that has crowd control and multi-hit, and then try to push to area 175, which is the goal here. See if you can blow way past 175, you might totally be fine here. But if you're having trouble getting to 175, you're gonna need more favor. That's how you know. And then because you're in a free play, if you're having trouble, you can just switch over to a regular party and push deep and earn favor in the free play, and then run another free play and test it again. On to Karlach's last 3 variants. We see the C down here, so we already know Karlach's joining the formation and can't be moved or removed. They're telling you right there, Karlach is a tank. Only champions in the front 2 columns can deal damage. Karlach's also a DPS. You have a choice here. You don't have to use Karlach as your DPS, but I mean, why not? Why not? As a newer player, you might want your DPS in the second row and just let Karlach buff them, though. But that's it. It's not really a restriction. It's just, hey, you got to use Karlach, and that's not a restriction at all. This is the best day, and it really is. Karlach required in the formation. This red X in the back, her teddy bear Clive. So Karlach starts with the Fury of Avernus and Rage abilities unlocked, so you get your abilities right away. An animated Clive also joins the formation, and he's adorable. All damage against enemies is reduced to 1. Until Karlach causes at least 20 rage stacks. This does include click damage. This restriction just means you're gonna slow down a bit in your progression, because you're gonna have to make sure she's got to get to 20 rage stacks, and she's got to stay above that in each area before you're really actually doing any damage. So it's gonna take a little while to get through this, but that's fine. It's just a little bit of time. You don't necessarily need more damage, right? Karlach gains an additional rage stack whenever any other champion in the formation attacks. And this means that if you have some faster attackers back here, then you don't have to wait for very long for her to get those 20 rage stacks. Because every time someone in the party attacks, she'll build up rage. Normally, it's just when she attacks or is hit. Okay, so they try to kind of counter this here. Finally, Zariel's champion, again, Karlach in the front. Other than Karlach, you may only use champions with a strength of 10 or higher and a charisma of 13 or higher. Not or, and. Both of these stats have to prove true. This is because that's the Zariel patron restriction. Those are the only champions that get used in Zariel patron variants. You have to meet or exceed both of those stat requirements. So this could potentially be rougher. And again, if you can't build that out, again, you could test it in a free play, see how far you can get. But if you can't build it out, you're going to have to get more favor. Favor is the thing you use to beat stuff with in an adventure. To a certain degree in the early game of Idle Champions as well, but then you need a lot of other things. But in events, really just lots of favor. They'll let you mow right over stuff. Okay. All right, let's hop into a Karlach free play and talk about each of the champions. Talking about each of the champions. Get out of here, Deacon. We're not here for you. Sorry, Deacon, that was rude. I apologize. I apologize. Karlach. Boom. Right up front. Okay, we're done, right? That's all we need. That's all we're talking about today is Karlach, right? Right? Right. That's what I thought. No, we'll talk about everybody. Folks, this is not the default skin for Rust. I need to make that clear. However, it is my default skin for Rust, and I will not change it. I will not change it ever. Here's what Rust normally looks like. Okay, but this is the only Rust that exists in my game. Because why would you need anything else? Why would you need anything else other than a cat dressed up as a ship? It's the best. Okay. Let's talk about Rust. Rust joins us from the Ox Venturers Guild. This is a completed affiliation, which means everyone from this affiliation is already in the game. So you can collect them all and run full Ox Venturers Guild formations if you'd like. They're male tabaxi rogue. They are neutrally aligned, so that means they could swing both ways. Support and gold find. Now their attacks over here you could see both melee and ranged. These are the indicators for melee and ranged. A magical attack looks like a little magic missile, but Rust does both, or can do both, depending on what's going on. Because they can stabby, or they can fire things. And see, bang, bang, stabby, bang, bang, and it'll go back and forth depending on what's going on. Main ability is Rust for Hire. Rust will increase your gold find by an amount. That's just what they do. They're just like, look, I'll make you a lot of money. That's it. Who doesn't want money? Next ability, 1 gold piece, because all Rust wants is 1 gold piece. Rust can physically not comprehend. I say physically because they lock up and freeze when someone tries to explain to them that there's more than 1 gold piece in the world. They can't understand more than 1 gold. They don't understand a need for more than 1 gold, and if you try to talk to them about more than 1 gold, just blue screen. So 1 gold piece. Rust has a 2% chance to gain a shiny gold piece from any kill while holding this gold piece, and this will be a physical indicator. In fact, it's on Rust right now. It's right there. It's got the hole through it. While holding this gold piece, the effects of his Rust for Hire and Highest Bidder abilities are increased by a large amount. Rust has a 3% chance to accidentally lose the gold piece each time he attacks with his rapier. So, when he's jumping out and stabbing people, oh, he just lost it. It dropped on the field right there. He has a chance to lose it. But whenever enemies die, you have a chance to pick it right back up again. There we go. So he dropped it, but fortunately we killed an enemy, and the enemy dropped it, and he picked it right back up. That's the way it works. Highest Bidder. Rust increases the damage of all champions by 100% for each magnitude of your gold find percentage. Newer players might not understand the term magnitude here. Magnitude is a reference to scientific notation. This is why we use scientific notation in this house, because so many things in the game are referencing scientific notation. Magnitude is a reference to the number after the E. So if I have EO2 gold find, then I have 100% for each order of magnitude. So 100% times 2, I have 200% more damage to all champions. Right now, however, my gold find is E64, which means I'm going to have 6,400 more damage. Percent more damage, right? See how that works? Because this is not multiplicatively stacking. This is just additively stacking. Hello, friends. Rust chance for 1 gold piece to find a shiny gold piece from any kill is increased by 100% for each other Oxventure's Guild champion in the formation, stacking additively. So, the more of his friends are in the party, the higher the chance he picks up his gold piece. So if you're running Rust, we're going to get to his specializations here in a moment, but if you're running Rust in a specialization where he doesn't just have it all the time, where he can get it and lose it and get it and lose it over and over, he can have it more often if he's in has more friends from the Oxventurers Guild with him. Okay. So specializations, we have especially shiny, close friends, or Rust Reloaded. I'm going to talk about Rust Reloaded first because I mentioned it earlier. Rust now only attacks with his pistols and can only lose his 1 gold piece during his ultimate attack. So if you want to keep the bonuses to both gold find and damage effectively all the time, you go Rust Reloaded, because once he picks up that gold piece, he keeps it until you hit the ultimate. You can just choose not to hit the ultimate if you want, right? So that's a way to keep his bonuses consistent at all times. Okay, it's also great for Azaka farming if you still do Azaka farming, because again, you want the gold piece. You want that bonus when you're Azaka farming. All right, the other two. Especially shiny increases the ability bonus of 1 gold piece by 100%, so just a double for 1 gold piece. Close friends, the ability bonus of 1 gold piece is increased by 100% for each other Oxventurers Guild champion within 2 slots, and it stacks multiplicatively. So that's the good way. Meaning if you're running a Oxventurers Guild formation, you want to take close friends, and you want to make sure they're all within 2 slots of Rust to get the major bonuses. Major bonuses, sir. All right. This is just kind of generic. Just kind of 100%. This is big deal. And then this is, I just want to stay consistent with my stuff. Okay. We're just going to go here. I never picked that one, so I might as well give it some love today. All right. Ultimate unlocks down here, and that's it. Yes. Okay, so ultimate cannonball. No, he's not jumping into a pool. Rust literally loads himself into a cannon and fires himself towards the enemies. Because why not? Dealing damage in a large area upon landing. When using his ultimate, Rust has a 40% chance of dropping his gold piece midway through flight. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Chance is reduced by 2.5% for every 4.5 seconds of ultimate cooldown reduction he has. So, basically, no, I just got to show you. You just got to see it. All right, here we go. Hold on. Let me make sure I have no speed core in here because I want the animation to play out smoothly. There it is. Boom. It gets me every time. Now, when they're talking about ultimate cooldown reduction, what are they talking about? They're talking about this item. So I have reduced the ultimate cooldown by 109.4 seconds. So that means for every 4.5 seconds, I can't do that math in my head. 109.5 divided by 4.5. 20. I get a bonus of like 24 times 2.5. Yeah, so I mean, I shouldn't lose it at all. I feel like, I don't know, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but maybe. That's what they're looking at. Ultimate cooldown reduction should be. So there's a chance that you can just always keep it. I know, math on stream is the worst. I feel like I should always keep it, but now I'm going to have to hit it again just to double check. I know, I'm doing math on stream twice on stream. It's the paint fumes. I have painters in my house today. I've had painters in the house all week. It's the paint fumes, folks. Here we go. Boom. No, yeah, he kept it. So I'm good. So once you get to a certain point of item levels on the slot 6 item, he just doesn't even lose the gold piece at all when he flies out. Just in the cannonball stance. All right, item-wise, Rust increased damage of all champions because he is a support. But then he buffs his gold piece, and then he buffs Rust for hire, and then he buffs highest bidder. This is all a chain, because remember, this buffs these. It's fantastic. Great itemization on Rust. Ultimate attack damage and ultimate cooldown reduction. Feat-wise, he's a cat. He's got 4 of them. No. Damage all champions items. We got 1 gold piece. We got Rust for hire. And you get a highest bidder and a close friend. So there is a variety here. Rust could use some extra stuff, but it hasn't been featured in a season yet. So hopefully we get an Ox Venture season at some point in the future. And maybe even, I don't know that Rust needs a lot changed about his kit, but more feats. Great, right? All right, let's talk about Finn. Finn joins us from the Black Dice Society. Again, another completed affiliation. One of the larger affiliations in the game. It's 7 members. So you can pick them all up. Female Dampier Elf, and the elf is specifically Drow. Warlock Rogue, Chaotic Evil, DPS support. For those of you who are like, Dampier, I've heard of vampires. What are Dampiers? Basically just a wet vampire. Basic attack is Pack Blade. Melee. Finn darts out of the closest enemy and slashes with her long sword, hitting all nearby enemies. So it's an AoE. Which is nice. Finn has a variety of interesting things going on, so let's dive in. Mischievous but dangerous. Finn increases the damage of all champions in her column by an amount. So Finn as a support is going to only buff in her column. So you need to make sure that she is alongside the DPS. This also does buff her as a DPS because she's in her column too. Patron's Oath. This is the big thing. This is the reason why, like in my guide for Finn, I say she's a high desirability time gate champion. While Finn is in your formation and you are in a patron variant or free play, patron challenge progress made by her party is increased by 100%. So you get double progress on patron chores. We call them chores around here. That's this stuff. These go hundreds of areas things and do lots of stuff. She lets you get through that twice as fast, right? Here's one where I haven't even done it. She lets you do that stuff twice as fast as long as she's in the party. Fantastic, because one of the big, kind of time sucks a lot of people complain about early on is, hey, why does it take so long? Once you start getting patrons, it takes me so much time to deal with my patron chores. I have a whole other solution to that, but Finn is one of the solutions you can use. Okay, she has a feat, you saw it earlier, that actually turns it from double credit to quadruple. So nice. So nice. All right. Warlock Pact. Finn reduces the normal attack speed of all warlocks in the formation by 0.1 second for each point of wisdom an adjacent champion has above 10. Got it? Okay, moving on. No. So, Finn likes to be in groups with other warlocks. And it is part of it is she wants to she would like to buff herself as a warlock, as a DPS, and she wants to buff other warlocks. And she wants to make them attack faster. Black Die Society, Nahara is the other DPS down here. And guess what? Nahara's a warlock. So this is leaning into, hey, we're gonna buff ourselves and our friend Nahara. But you can increase this 0.1 by having a lot of wisdom 10 or higher champions, or wisdom above 10 champions next to her in the formation. So how you build your formation will determine attack speed. Now, attack speed isn't necessarily helpful. Like, attack speed doesn't make you do more damage. I want to be clear. Attack speed can have a minor bonus to the bud. The bud you set, which is your base ultimate damage down here. So damage done by ultimates. But it's not necessarily going to help you make more damage. What it is going to help you do is chew through things like the Devourer faster, right? You'll be able to attack faster. So keep this in mind when placing Finn and adjacent champions in a formation. Now you still want to make sure you're buffing correctly, spreading your buffs correctly. But if you have some leeway, try to make sure everybody near Finn is Wisdom 11 or higher. Specializations. Her specialization is pretty straightforward, in my opinion. Shadows of the Underdark, Curse of the Dampier. To me, Curse of the Dampier is her DPS spec. It just increases her, embraces her Dampier heritage and increases her damage by EO 4%. Just straightforward self buff. So damage spec. I use this one for support. Arguably, though, there's situations where you could use Shadow of the Underdark for her DPS spec as well. But I would rather this be. I think this is just pure support. Finn Abuser Blade with Eldritch Energy, increasing the effect of mischievous but dangerous by an amount, and causing your normal attacks to deal additional 5 seconds of bud base damage with each hit. Again, I think DPS support. I think that's just a straightforward way to think about it. Now, the great thing about this is that bud base damage, if you're dealing with armored enemies, and she is not your primary DPS, when you choose that as her support spec, she becomes a functional secondary DPS, because bud is set by the person doing the most damage. And then if she's doing an amount of bud as damage, she's doing an amount equal to what they're doing. It's sometimes better, sometimes a little worse. It depends on how many seconds of bud it is. 5 is pretty great. 5 in a lot of cases is going to be more damage. Depends on how fast the attack speed of your deal is, of your primary DPS is. But if you're attacking an armored enemy, that means both your primary DPS and Finn taking off chunks with their attacks. Okay, so it's a great ability to have as a support. That's one of the things that makes her a great support, in my opinion. I've got you, friends. Finn increases the effect of mischievous but dangerous by 100% for each champion in the formation that is either a Black Dice Society affiliation member, so here's your affiliation buff, or has a wisdom of 15 plus, so she wants to work with high wisdom champions. And this stacks multiplicatively. Multiplicatively stacking abilities are the big deal in this game. That's the good way. So if you can build out Wisdom 15 plus with Finn in your party, great. You're going to really see a benefit. If you're running Black Dice Society, it's built in. But don't butcher a formation just to make sure somebody has Wisdom 15 plus. When you're looking for people that match this requirement, you want to make sure they have comparable buffs to whoever you might be swapping them out with. Because multiplicatively stacking on its own isn't going to be enough to overcome somebody else's bad buffs. Okay? And I want to go over here and just double check. Yeah, it's a post-stack multiplier, so it's not the OP way, it's just the good way. And her ultimate is Form of Dread. Oh, wait, hold on. Did we? Right, it just added that. Okay. Form of Dread. Fen transforms into her dread form. Now this is considered like shape shifting for anything that might trigger off shape shifting. She sprouts wings, leaps into the air, and charges directly across the area, dealing 1 hit of ultimate damage to all enemies. So she'll hit everyone on the screen and knocks them back a short distance. Here's what it looks like. Pause. Boom. So she gets wings, goes a little wolfy, even though she's a Dampier, and then she comes back. Flies around the world, clearly, because she came back in from the left side of the screen. No, that's not what happened. All right. Item-wise, self-damage, and then damage of all champions. That's usually what we see when we see a DPS/support. Self-damage item, damage all champions. Then we get Mischievous but Dangerous. I've got you friends. Then we have an item that buffs her specializations. That's why you saw some weird numbers there, and I didn't just call out the pure number. So that can go up. And then we get ultimate cooldown reduction. Feat-wise, damage all champions, self-damage. Again, that's the DPS support feats. We get to buff Mischievous but Dangerous. We get to buff I've Got You Friends. The Patron Oath, I just tend to keep that locked in. But if you're not doing patron stuff, you don't have to use it. Specialization feats. So there is a variety here. There's a variety. Maybe not quite as strong a variety as the more recent champions, but hopefully they will get more in the future. But you got enough to work with, especially that patron feat. All right, let's talk about Karlach. This is the best stream. I love me some Karlach. Slight aside. In my very first playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, I played through as my OC, Gaarawarr Grudgekeeper, the dwarf. The only person, as I played through, I was like, I don't like this person. I don't want to romance this person. Everyone was hitting on me. I was like, look, I know I'm a dwarf, so I'm hot, but can we stop? We got stuff to do. Everyone was hitting on me except Karlach. And Karlach was the only person I was like, okay, we're going to romance Karlach. And then I missed it. It was such a vague, I don't know if it's still vague, but it was so vague what the triggers are for romancing Karlach. And I missed him. And I was so upset. She soldier zoned me. He soldier zoned me. Oh, so sad. So sad. Anyway. And yeah, Karlach is the only one of the companion, or at least the first of the companion champions. Ultimately, I'm going to do a playthrough as Karlach because I just got to see it. She's so great. Karlach joins us as a member of the Absolute Adversaries from Baldur's Gate 3. Absolute Adversaries is not a complete affiliation. We have been told via Justin, who leaked way ahead of time, that the Dark Urge is coming, which was a shock, I think, to most people. The other notable name that's not here that we would presume is coming is Gale. Gale is the only other Origin champion, and then that's what's coming to the game is the Origin champions, the one you can play from the character select screen. So we're only missing, one or two, and then they'll have a full party. But a lot of them available already. Female tiefling Barbarian. I mean, come on. Cat a good DPS tanking support, so a lot going on with Karlach. Overall, 25. I do want to point out 2.5% crit chance, 500% crit damage. Did that change for everybody? They upped everybody's. That's why. Never mind. That's a problem because I think my guide has everybody at 100%, and they changed that recently, and I just realized. Womp womp. I've got to update 130 guides. Yay. Anyway, Karlach, melee attack, great axe cleave. Karlach attacks with the closest enemies with a swing of her great axe. Karlach has a passive ability. That's what a level 0 ability is. She is the champion of Zariel. So as a champion of Zariel, Karlach can be used in any Zariel patron adventure or variant, even if she would not normally be available to be used due to variant or patron restrictions. So no matter what the Zariel restriction is, Karlach can come along for the party, which means now every Zariel variant, you've got a guaranteed tank / DPS if you need it. no matter what. Okay. Fury of Avernus is her first functional ability. Karlach increases damage of all champions, including herself, that are in her column and the column behind her by an amount. So she buffs herself and anyone else in her column, as well as the column behind. That this doesn't mean she has to be in the tanking position, but obviously that's where I want her. But if you had other takes and you just wanted Karlach buffing for some reason, we could move her back and she could buff it. Okay. Oh, also I should talk about, so Fen has this cool sword icon with the 0.0. This is the attack speed buff indicator. Remember, she gets 0.1 for everyone adjacent to her that has wisdom, that has a decent wisdom score, and it's per point. So so you can tell how much of a boost you're getting to attack speed here. I forgot to point that out. My bad. My bad. Ceramorphosis. Now, for those who I don't know, been sleeping under a rock, everybody in the Absolute Adversaries has a tadpole in their head, and is on their way to Ceramorphosis. And this ability is kind of the is on the other Absolute Adversaries, it's the big deal ability. On Karlach, they've decided to make it her health share, and it's a solid health share. So your formation gains 1 Ceramorphosis stack due to the Mind Flayer tadpole in Karlach's brain. Karlach increases the health of all other champions by 20% of her max health, plus 2% for each Ceramorphosis stack the formation has, stacking additively. So that means just with her in it, you're getting 22% health share. But you're going to get another 2% for each of the other Absolute Adversaries that you throw in, because they all have a tadpole. There are also 3 other champions in the game currently that have a tadpole feat that you could slot that would build Ceramorphosis stacks. And that's Narak, Imoen, and Viconia. Okay. So technically, right now, you could have 8 stacks. So 8 stacks would put her, if you had them all in your party, that puts her at 36% health share. If you did, if we get Gale and the Dark Urge, that's 40% if you can get them all in the formation at the same time. I don't think you can. No, I think you could. You might. We'll see. Yeah. So she has potentially just a lot of health share. Now, again, this isn't buffing her health. This is buffing the health of everyone else in the party. But making your party more survivable is a big deal in some places where your whole party is taking damage, like AoE damage or those random attacks from other champions. So this could be huge. This could be a big deal. It's just not going to be the item that you want. Like, there's no item for this now, whereas the other champions had an item for it, and it was a pre-stacker, and you wanted to buff them up, get the golden, and go crazy with item levels. That's not necessarily the same with Karlach. She doesn't have item support for Ceramorphosis. For her, you just want to build her health up, and she does have a health item. All right, Rage. She's a barbarian, so Rage. She rages. When Karlach attacks or is attacked, she gains a Rage stack, and these cap at 50 base. Karlach increases the effect of the Fury of Avernus by 25% for each Rage stack she has, stacking multiplicatively. That's a good way. And boy, is it good. It's a big deal. Yeah, it's nice. It's real nice, folks. Stacks are reduced by 60% when changing areas, so you don't lose all of them. But you lose a lot when you change areas. So you can build it up on, so if you're pushing and you're sitting on one level and it's taking a while to beat, just know she's getting multiplicatively more powerful. She's buffing everybody more, multiplicatively more, until she hits her rage cap. You can tell she's raging. She has this animation, which we're not seeing here. She is not raging currently. Is it not firing off or something? Huh. Oh, she's got to give 20. Once she's above 20 rage stacks, we'll get to that in a bit. She has an animation where she lights up and starts glowing, and the ground beneath her cracks. We'll get there. Here, I'm going to pause on this stage so we can see it in a bit. All right. And it's for her next ability, Infernal Engine. While Karlach has 20 or more rage stacks, she ignites on fire, dealing 0.1 second of bud-based damage for each rage stack to an enemy that attacks her, and this stacks additively. So her rage stacks can get to 50. She does 0.1 second of bud-based damage for each rage stack, which means she can get up to 5 seconds of bud-based damage whenever someone hits her. Her attack cooldown is 6 seconds. If she's your DPS, that's almost as much damage as she's doing when she hits someone. That's how you figure that out. Bud is damage per second, and she has a 6-second cooldown, so we'd be a second off. This can get... her rage stacks can go up. So there's a point, we're going to talk about that in a bit. There's a point where for getting hit by people at a certain point, when she's your DPS... her getting hit can do more damage than her hitting at a certain point. It gives very big Farida vibes. And I love it. All right, let's talk about her specialization choices. So she has Wild Heart and Wild Magic. These are very clear as to what their use case scenarios are. So this isn't one where you're going to really have to worry about a whole lot, in my opinion. Berserker is your DPS spec, Wild Heart is your tanking spec, and Wild Magic is your support spec. Now, can you use if she's not tanking, then you would use like Wild Magic as support, but if she is tanking and you don't care about her ability to tank, you'd go Wild Magic for support. But if she's damaging things, you probably want Berserker. You definitely want Berserker. I don't even know why I said probably. You want her in Berserker. Let's talk about Berserker. Where Karlach has 20 or more rage stacks, she increases her damage by 50% for each rage stack she has, stacking multiplicatively. 50 is her cap on rage stacks base. 50% for each stack, multiplicatively, folks. It's ridiculous. This is... oh, no, I did that wrong. I do this wrong every time. And there we go. It's an E10 buff. It's an E10 self-damage buff. Minimum, I believe. Berserker for damage. Why would you throw that away? Berserker for damage. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I was running her as a DPS earlier this week, and the numbers were, even with no gear, she has no gear right now, the numbers were ridiculous. All right, Wild Heart is her tanking spec, and it's pretty cool. Wild Heart, while Karlach has 20 or more rage attacks, she heals herself by 10% of her max health every second. Full heal every 10 seconds. She's just like, give me health. And here's the cool thing. This 10% gets buffed by things like Mert's Perk Up, which increases the healing it received by a tank champion by 50%. Well, that makes it 15% right there, which means full health every, 7 seconds? And then there's other abilities in the game that can boost healing. So, here's her cool rage. Her Infernal Engine is going right now. So she can become very survivable in the right situations, but even just 10% health every second is a serious survivability boost. That's more health than, folks, that's a bigger heal than you can get from most healers in this game, if not all healers. The only person that could outdo that would be Briv tanking alongside her and getting hit 10 times in a second. Okay, so yeah. It's pretty great tanking ability. Wild Magic is her, again, the support. So while Karlach has 20 more rage stacks, she increases the effect of Fury of Avernus by 100% for each stack of Ceramorphosis, stacking multiplicatively. So this is specifically support in a group with lots of Ceramorphosis stacks because you want that multiplicative bonus. She's going to lose tanking ability, and she's not going to be your DPS, so it has to be kind of a pure support. She might be able to still exist in the front line, but this means she can be used somewhere else too. Okay, so she has a lot of functionality in different places in your formation. in terms of different roles and end placement. I mean, usually she's going to want to be taken up front, and she could damage from up here, but she could also damage all the way back here if she wanted. Right? There's a lot of flexibility. I'm going to go Berserker because, and we're going to build up rage stacks just cause, folks, just cause. We'll get to Y in a bit. All right. I guess we're about to get to Y because we're almost there. So an experienced gladiator. This is when Karlach starts off. Her numbers aren't going to be amazing. Like her numbers for Fury of Avernus, kind of unimpressive. If you open up my guide, you'll see like her base Fury of Avernus buff without gear is like EO8. It's not the most impressive buff in the world. An experienced gladiator is where her power really comes from. Karlach increases the effect of the Fury of Avernus by 10% for each Zariel patron variant you've completed, stacking multiplicatively. Folks, there are over 300 Zariel patron variants in the game currently, and that number goes up every time they add new variants to the game. This is a big deal. It does mean you have to put in work to make Karlach good. But I mean, why wouldn't it's Karlach? Why wouldn't you? It's just amazing. Fortunately, Zariel is one of the patrons I have already completed most of my stuff on. So here's a look at what that's going to look like when you complete over 300. I get an E16 buff to Fury of Avernus at over 300 stacks. E16 buff to Fury of Avernus, which means my Fury of Avernus went from an EO8 to currently sitting in an E26. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Okay. So it's going to take a while. If you're a newer player, she doesn't have her potential yet. She needs to, if you want to think about it this way, she is, when you first get her as a new player, if you haven't done any Zariel stuff, she hasn't really explored the world and adventured and earned that experience. You go do that work, and then she's the beast that she becomes in Baldur's Gate 3. All right, so she's going to feel a little at first if you haven't done that. But if you have it, so good. So good. All right, now let's talk about the real deal with Karlach. All this is great. I think this is a cool kit. I really enjoy it. Karlach's going to be my new DPS main, because why wouldn't she be? Even based off all of this, I'd be like, all right, let's go. Let's go. Okay. But then her ultimate. Soul Coin. Karlach absorbs the energy of a soul coin, increasing her rage cap to 100 stacks. And her infernal engines bud base damage by 100% until you complete the next boss area. Now, the limitation here is, it's only going to last until you complete a boss area. The other limitation is, look at that cooldown, folks. That is not a typo. 700 seconds. 11 minutes, 40 seconds without any gear. Even with full itemization on her, like full cooldown reduction, it's still going to be like 3.5 minutes. Okay, so she has the ability to just unload on people until you get to a boss level, and then you beat the boss, and then she cools down, and then you got to wait until you get your timer back. She's going to be a timer-based champion. Hopefully you can ride whatever destructive damage she creates with this soul coin through multiple bosses. But this is the big deal, okay? There's a lot of, I see some comments in chat, but there are a lot of ways to bring this down. But I'm talking about her on her own. I just want to say this is what her thing is on her own. If you can manipulate ultimate cooldowns, and you can in this game, she becomes even better, right? All right, here we go. Boom. Lights it up, and she goes on fire. This is the only downside I have to Karlach, is I don't really like how this animation completely hides Karlach. Someone described it as an onion, a fire onion, and I agree. I'm not here for fire onion Karlach. They put it down here on the ultimate too. I'm not really here for fire onion Karlach. I'm here for what the ultimate does, though. So again, this boosted her potential rage stacks to 100 from 50. We doubled her rage stacks. But remember, it's not a double, because everything based around her rage, all of the big deals based around her rage, stack multiplicatively. So we just gave her 50 more multiplicative stacks. What? Okay, so what's gonna go up? Her rage that buffs Fury of Avernus 25% is now gonna go up because we have 50 more multiplicative stacks. Also, you don't lose stacks. You don't lose rage going level to level when she has her ultimate active. It's an unnoted feature, but you notice stacks are reduced by 0% when changing areas. So she just builds up stacks until you beat a boss level, and then it goes away. Okay. Infernal Engine is affected, but additively, remember, because she gets, if she's over 20, she ignites 0.1 second of blood-based damage for each rage stack. Well, now it's 100 stacks, which means she's now at 10 seconds. But then the ultimate doubles that, so it's effectively like 20 seconds. And remember, that's like 3 times her damage if she's your DPS when she's hit. So with her ultimate active, she's if people are hitting her, she's destroying them. She doesn't even have to swing. They're just burning up on her skin. Okay. And then Berserker, because I chose Berserker spec, I get, instead of 50% to the 50th powers, 50% to the 100th power. So her Berserker went up. Everything went up. Okay, so what are we looking at now? We're looking at Rage went to, I'm only at 73 stacks. And we're in an EO9 bonus now. It's still ticking up. Infernal Engine, we're now at 14.8. That's over double the damage she does when someone hits her. Berserker, we're up to an E15 self-damage boost. Again, we're still 24 stacks away from the cap. Looking at Fury of Avernus is up to E28. It's on its way to around E31 without gear, is where 100 is going to get her as we watch it tick up. When she pops that soul coin, she becomes the beast of all beasts, folks. It's ridiculous. All right, feat-wise, she has a lot. Look at this. There's 6 default feats. It's because she's DPS, tanking, and support all at the same time. She has a plethora of feats. She's a wide array. So self-damage, health boosts, damage all champions, health boost, self-damage, Fury of Avernus, Rage, and Overwhelm. So making her more tanky. Then you get the higher level versions of these. You get a taunt feat, which is her best self-damage feat. It increases her damage by 400%. Plus she taunts enemies half the time. Okay. Taunt is a damage feat for her. You're going to want it. Everything else, then we get an Experienced Gladiator feat, which is the only thing that wasn't listed off the defaults, and higher levels of that. So she has a variety of feats. I think the only thing really missing here is more alternate functionality stuff. Taunt is the closest we get, and again, it is almost your required DPS feat. Okay, are we at 30? Are we 100 stacks yet? We're almost there. All right, let's talk about itemization, and then we'll come back to it. As you can see, I have no gear for her, so we can't really talk about her items. So right now, what we're going to do real quick, I know we went longer than an hour, but Karlach. We're gonna gear up Karlach, and I'm gonna demonstrate the most efficient way to gear up an event champion. So if you're a newer player, there's a lot of chests out there. I've got a lot of chests in my inventory. So what am I needing to open to gear up Karlach efficiently, and to gear up event champions efficiently? This is specifically going to gear up my Karlach, but What we want to do is we want to look at our Electrum chests, so the ones that you get from streams like this. In fact, let me, Karlach Cliffgate. That's her name, folks. Okay, so these Electrum chests that you get from streams like this, that's the first thing we're going to look at. Excuse me. Then we're going to want to look at her named chests. So silver and gold Karlach chests. Where are we at? Down here. Here's a silver Karlach chest. Here's a gold Karlach chest. I got a bunch. Again, I opened a lot of bounty contracts. I got a lot of tokens. I farmed a lot of chests. All right. So silver and gold. But what we want to open first are Electrums. We want to open Electrums because our goal here is to get to all blue gear as efficiently as possible. I know people want purple, but there's no way to rush purple gear. It is just RNG. But you can rush and efficiently get to blue gear, and that's what we're talking about. So we open Electrums first, and I know this confuses some people because they're like, why not just open her silvers? It goes straight to them. That's the problem. We know her named stuff will go straight to her. Named chests are going to go straight to your named champions in an event. So you use Electrums first, because Electrums could go to any champion you own. Except unstated here is that it will focus on champions that don't have any gear, or that it can offer upgrades to. So if we were looking at an even spread, everybody's got the same amount of gear, then Electrums will spread across all 130 of my champions. Except right now, I've got one champion who doesn't have any gear, and it's going to create a funnel. I'm going to pop these Electrum chests, and that gear is going to go straight on Karlach. Okay, period. I'm going to pop this one, guaranteed Karlach gear. Okay, there's my Karlach. Oh, it was a blue, too. You can get up to blue, but what we're looking to try to get from our Electrums is a green. Green and green or better. Okay, so all of these, the first 6 are guaranteed to be Karlach. There's a white piece of gear. There's another white piece of gear. Let's get another one. So there's 3. There's 4. That was an upgrade. I could tell. So I'm still at 4. There's 5. And then this should be 6. Unless it was an upgrade. Oh, soul coin. Was it an upgrade? It was an upgrade. Okay. But it's still, I'm still running through guaranteed gear for Karlach out of these because I got some upgrades too, and that's great. Engine conversion plans. There it is. So there's the pop-up. The achievement says I got 6 pieces of gear, right? I got real lucky here. All but 1 piece of gear ended up green or better off my first stretch. But again, as long as I've got Electrums, I can keep popping Electrums and I can keep fishing for green or better gear. Now I have enough Electrums. It's going to take me to full blue. I want to pop all my Electrums first. If all 3 champions are new for you for this event, or for any event, unlock them all first, then open up all the Electrums you have. If you're brand new, you want to be popping Electrums the second you get them. But eventually, once you have all champions that you own are in green or better gear, you can stop opening blue or better gear, you can stop opening Electrum chests, save them up for events. That's kind of one of the things that we do to make things more efficient. So if I keep going here, this should be, yep, there's the green upgrade. So now I'm in green or better gear. If I was out of Electrums, I would switch to silvers. So silver named Karlach chests, they have the same chance to drop like white, green, and blue gear, and I would still hunt for all of those blues. But here's the thing, if for some reason I stopped there and I ran out of all chests, I was out of Electrums and I was out of silvers for Karlach, this is still where I wanted to get. I wanted to get green or better. And the reason is at this point I could start opening blues if I was out of all those other chests. Start opening golds, excuse me, to hunt for blues. Because gold chests have a rule that the other chests don't. And that rule is it will always drop an upgrade up to blue rarity. And you don't want to open gold chests early because that means it could drop a green. We don't want those. We can get those from Electrums and silvers. We can get those from Electrums and silvers. What we want to do is get to green so that our guaranteed drop out of a gold chest is a blue every time. Okay, so right now if I open a gold chest for Karlach, I'm going to get a piece of blue gear or purple. RNG could give me a purple, but I got a blue. Okay. That's the way it works. That's the most, if this is the most efficient way to get to blue gear. And that's what you're trying to do. I know everybody wants a purple, but that's just RNG. Getting to blue makes them all functional. It gives them a nice solid multiplier across all of their abilities. That's what we want to do first. All right. I'm going to dump all of these electrums in because I want to get as many item levels on Karlach as I can. I'm going to dupe out to some other champions, but see, I even got more blues for Karlach. Then I'm going to do her silvers. Now I know they're all going to Karlach, but that's on purpose because all of these duplicate items are going to give her extra item levels across everything, right? There was her final blue. And then, so now I'm full blue. Great. I got where I wanted to go. Now I'm just fishing for epics, and I have enough gold chests to get full epic. But remember, it's just RNG for epics. I don't remember what the chance of getting an epic out of a gold chest is. I think it's 1 in 6, maybe. That's what's rolling off the top of my head. But there's a pity timer on gold chests. It's this purple bar down here. It starts off at 1 in 4 chance. The first time you run into a gold chest that you've never had before, like this gold misunderstood chest from the newsletter, from the weekend stuff. This is the first time it's ever been in the game, so its pity timer starts at 4. That means you're guaranteed in an event, because you get 3 gold chests from variants, 1 from each, and then you'll have enough tokens to at least do enough free plays to hit the pity timer to get 1 more gold chest. From free plays, you're guaranteed to get 1 epic during an event. So your minimum that you're shooting for in gear is 5 blue, 1 epic. Anything else beyond 1 epic is bonus. So I'm going to see, do I run the full pity timer here? I do. So now on my next one, if I'm done here, it says guaranteed epic equipment in the next chest, and it delivers. Okay. Now my pity timer starts over. So if you have the worst luck in the game, you need 54 named gold chests for a champion to get them to full epic. I obviously have more than that, so I'm guaranteed to get full epic. But on average, I found it somewhere between 30 and 40 chests can get you full epic in a bit. So let's just get her all her epic gear. Boom. So pretty. So pretty. Now all the rest of my gear runs are just to get her more item levels, right? Because we're at what? Well, I'm in the 130s. Whew, yay. Nice. Lowest is 104. All right, so Karlach's itemization. Clive the teddy bear. Of course. She's got to have her teddy bear with her. Damage of all champions items. We get a health item. We get Fury of Avernus. We get Rage. And we get an Experienced Gladiator. And then it's Ultimate Cooldown Reduction. And you're going to need that one. So if there was anything that you really need to guild right away, it's going to be Ultimate Cooldown Reduction followed by Health, just to make her tankier. None of her other items are pre-stack on their multipliers, unfortunately. So she's not an OP champion. She's just OP in my heart. Phrasing. All right, what did we get to now? With some gear and at 100 rage stacks, I'm looking at an E33% Fury of Avernus. So this is the buff to herself and other champions in her column and the column behind. I'm looking at her rage took her up to a max at E12. Again, that's buffing Fury of Avernus. And Infernal Engine damage, 20 seconds of Bud. Again, that's 3 times her damage. It's over 3 times her damage. When things hit her, they're just going to explode. So basically pushing with Karlach DPS, the most DPS you're going to get is pushing so far that you're not killing things. Things are hitting you and dying from it. It's a really weird backwards thing, but that's the way she's going to work. Farida works the same way. Her Berserker got up to E19 self-damage. Folks, E19 self-damage. Ridiculous. And now I need to get all of the rest of her Zerial Patron stuff done so I can max this out. But again, it ended up at about an E17 buff, right? So Karlach, pretty beefy. Achievements. Let's hit up the achievements real quick. Karlach's Stick close to Mama K. Defeat 10,000 enemies with Karlach having at least 20 rage stacks. You just got to use her a bunch. You could kill farm it, but you just use it a bunch. Fens Fens Warlock Pack provide a cooldown reduction of at least 3 seconds. That means you need some high wisdom people next to her. That's what you're doing. Remember, you get 0.1 for each point of wisdom over the 10, right? Or something like that. You need high wisdom people next to her. Wait, now I got to verify that. Hold on. Yeah, 0.1 for each wisdom above 10. So that's what you're shooting for packed it up. And then my gold piece is gain back Rust's shiny gold piece within 3 seconds of losing it. You can't use his right spec for this because he never loses it except when you cannonball. You're just going to want to use one of the other specs. Obviously, it's easier if he's got more of his friends in his party, but this is pure RNG. It really is. You just got to be killing things quickly. You can park on a low level in Mad Wizard where one of the spawners is, the portals. Kill with click damage. He's going to drop it eventually, and then you just got to hope he picks it back up again. Have 3 familiars on the field to pick it up immediately. That's really all you can do for that one. That's going to be it for the tutorial side of this. We're going to come back in a couple minutes after our musical break for the Q&A. We've already got like 14 questions in the queue. We got about a half an hour to do them in. The song at the break, we don't have a specific song for any of these 3, but in honor of yet another absolute adversary coming to the game, we've got Hive Mind, the song about mind flayers. We'll be right back.
Open up your mind and be free. No more pain, no more sorrow for thee. At the end of time, the universe is ours. Join us as we sail across the stars. Take our hands, you'll never be alone again. We will be your only friends. Across the march of time, we subjugate the weak and strong. Your mind can't resist, so why not come along? Ever growing, all consuming, no resisting, thoughts subsume me. Such a tasty treat. Your memories exist for us to eat. Hopes and dreams are sour, but fears and doubts are sweet. We relish in your flavors of defeat. Always rising, gaining power, never slowing, thoughts devoured. Hive mind, hive mind, hive mind.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm in the middle of opening up gold chests to restock my supply of bounty contracts and get all my new Karlach feats. Because I want to get rid of that exclamation point. I want to get rid of that exclamation point. So I'm going to give her some health. 40% experience gladiator. I want taunt. I'll buy it. There we go. It's also in a cash pack if you get the skin pack. And then we really want like 60%. Do we? Yeah, 60% self damage. Yep, that's probably going to be a solid loadout. I might need more overwhelm if I'm dying, but what's that get me to? E33 Fury of Avernus. Sure, I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, we're gonna hit up the questions that came in from chat. I'm gonna hit the things that were on topic first, but you can ask about any and all. Onthalon, would you please tell us why Karlach is your favorite? Of all of the Baldur's Gate champions, like of the companions that you could have in your party, Karlach Karlach is not only is she things that I like to play as in games. Like I play a Gaarawarr Grudgekeeper is a the sturdy dwarf that likes to just wade into battle and hit things. Karlach is very much that way. But also she just kind of has this like joy for living, and she doesn't like, I mean, she'll fight, but God, she just wants to have fun and live a happy life, and you want that for her. Now here's the Devourer, folks. He just swallowed Karlach. No, he's swallowing Karlach. No, Karlach's gone. This is why the Devourer sucks. Yeah, she's just great. Yeah, she's the best. All right, let's see here. Some of these aren't about the event, but I'm trying to. We'll get back to them eventually. Bellswin, assuming I have all 3 event champions, and all 3 event champions are full epic, and all 3 event champions are at my item level floor, where should I spend my extra event tokens? I don't think it matters this event. No one here is a multiplicatively stacking pre-stacker. If you plan on leaning into the absolute adversaries, which it feels like is going to be a really strong formation potentially, then Karlach. Mainly just to give her more health and hopefully hit that item cooldown or ultimate cooldown cap if you haven't already. Trees, is there a way to see how many stacks, like rage stacks, Karlach has? Not out here, but right now, I mean, if she's raging, she's over 20. Otherwise, you have to go in here to the formation buffs tab and look to see what her stack is right here on rage. Yeah, they don't have it visibly out here other than just once you hit 20, you get the crack under the ground and her engine lights up. And then when she's ulting, obviously everything is on fire. Noobles, can you break down ideal chest opening for new players once again? I just did that before the break. Gary, is there a way to make the main boss of Midwinter less annoying to deal with? No. Not really. Here's the thing. You obviously want a full party. You need to have favor to be able to level them up so that they're strong, because what you need to do, the only thing you can do to make them less annoying is kill everybody that comes on the screen. You're going to lose one person, but you need to kill all of these people once they're out. The second they're out, just wipe them off the screen, because then that means every one of your champions is going to be hitting the Devourer, and you got to get through all 50 HP. And I can click over here on them. The little stun doesn't do anything, but it does every about 5 or 6 seconds. Clicking is going to take off a chunk of health, like it just did there. So a combination of those two things if you're having trouble. But really, you just need to be able to level up your champions so that you instantly kill all those enemies, and you're focusing on the Devourer and then dropping ults on them and destroying them. Like you just have to. You just have to. Because it's not like the Devourer isn't armored, so any amount of damage is going to remove one of their health segments. You've just got to hit them 50 times. Attack speed boosts can help. Multi-attackers can help. So Ashara, who you start the game off with, is a multi-attacker. She can help. Yeah. That kind of stuff. Oh, Trenimo, thank you very much. You don't need to update any guides. Great shot, kid. Light of Xerxes increases crit damage by 400%, applying to all campaigns. That's what it is. And it's additively. Okay. Okay. Those new Light of Xerxes buffs, excuse me. They're screwing me up. They're screwing me up. Thank you very much. So yeah, Light of Xerxes has a new global that adds 400% to everybody's crit damage. That's why it's at 500% now. Oh man, I wish they told you like why it's the number it is, but Gordus, assuming all Zerial variants completed and all available Xerxes, how well would Karlach compete with Crux if she weren't Bay? Let me go look here. I mean, I can't. All I can tell you is what this boost would go up to. It is my recollection that there's currently 386 maybe Zerial patron things. So that's going to put her at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That's going to put her, well, still at E17. So she's going to stay in E17, but it's going to be like 9.5 E17. So I'm pretty close. You know, we're at a factor of what, 6 or 7 that would boost off this. So she's sitting in an E33 buff. Self-damage, well, I mean, her self-damage is ridiculous, right? But let's see, where were we at? We're at E158 was the highest hit. Let's throw Crux in. The problem I have with Crux is my Crux doesn't have I haven't done all the Xerxes stuff. The multiplier is going to be smaller. I usually do this one. But I don't know that that's really going to be the best here. Here's the thing. The multiplicatively stacking multipliers are going to be smaller on Crux because there aren't going to be as many Xerxes things available. This is going to have to stack up for a bit. So experienced sailor, I'm only at 99. Oh, you're never going to get, I mean, there's never going to be 300, but it is a 20% stack. It's hard to say. I don't know. I don't know what the total is here. I don't know what the total number of Xerxes is. Oh. Battle stations is on its way up. All hands on deck is E26 so far. So I feel like they're going to be close. It feels like they'll be close. I think the big deal is when Karlach gets hit by things. With their soul coin out, I feel like she's going to be super destructive compared to Crux. But who knows? Who knows? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We're almost at E30. Almost to E30. So E29, all hands on deck. I just don't have, like, we don't have this going on right now, which would increase all hands up deck. Because we're not killing favored foes. Yeah. I feel like probably pretty close. Probably. Yeah, I mean, Crux is going to get item levels, but that's only going to matter if you're somebody who gets, tens of thousands of item levels. Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be more Zerial. There will always be the Zerial patron numbers of patron variants is a continuously increasing number. I mean, I kind of think Karlach will win out in the end because the number of Xerxes campaign adventures and variants is a fixed number. It's still on its way up right now, but then it will stop and it will stay at that number forever. But Zerial patron variants will continue forever. Every time they add a new variant to the game, that means they've just added a Zerial patron variant as well. So I think in the long run, Karlach should beat Crux, but then it depends on, how ridiculous are you getting in your item levels? And these are kind of pointless arguments. I'm not trying to make your question pointless, but at a certain point, it just comes down to which one do you want to use, and what is your personal situation, right? Which is how this game needs to be played. Is which one works better for you? Gordis, can skins potentially fix the fire onion issue? Maybe, but I shouldn't have to get a skin to fix a visual problem, right? Punchow, have you tried Finn with high wisdom support? She gets -1. I know how her abilities work. How fast can she be? I mean, she can get pretty quick, but she can. You can only ever reduce. It's warlocks that she's reducing. If you're talking just about her, you can only ever reduce a champion down to their attack animation speed cap. And it can't go faster. There's ways to get Finn down to that don't just involve her. You can use like Whittle. I can have her we can use Whittle and Alindra, and I can show you and we can get her to an animation speed cap. It's not really going to show up very well. Well, actually, this is another great way to get rid of the Devourer. If you want a gimmicky, that's not Alindra. Wait. Oh no, Alindra's in 6. Never mind. Dang it. Can't use Alindra. Not for Finn. I could use her for somebody else. Let's demonstrate. Someone wants an easy way to get through the Devourer. Let's demonstrate an easier way to get through the Devourer. I'm gonna just get ultra destructive here. We're gonna throw but there are other, you can use Whittle, you can use Virgil, you can use Human. There's a lot of people that just give a lot of attack speed reduction, and you could use them to make Finn real quick, along with Finn's bonuses. But ultimately, you'll never get lower than whatever the animation attack speed, the animation speed is. Okay, here we go. So right now, there's this thing between Whittle and Alindra. We call it a little, where basically we're going to be attacking on animation speed instead of looking at attack speed cooldowns and stuff. And this is going to get real destructive real fast. Anyway, let's go. But they're going to be jumping out. Why are they not? What broke? It's not working. I think the Devourer just broke everything, but anyway, there's this thing that we call machine gun or chainsaw where they will basically attack on animation speed, and something about that broke here. And I think it's just the Devourer broke it. There's a lot of ways to get people to attack real quick, is ultimately what I'm saying. Again, it doesn't really matter how fast someone is attacking if they're not doing any damage. The only time that matters is in a situation where it's hit-based, like with the Devourer. But when you're dealing with anything else, attacking faster doesn't mean anything. You need to hit hard. So I'm not going to put a bunch of high wisdom people around Finn if it brings my damage down just to get attack speed. So Whittle was leveled up more than enough. I don't know what was going on. I'll try to figure it out later. Is anything from Karlach observable by Artemis? Is I thinking what that was supposed to be? Drathonis asks. Yeah, I mean her main buff. Her Fury of Avernus buff. Nothing else. So talking about gearing up champions officially, Necronis says, I've gotten several champions lately. I saved my Electrums, but I have so many champs they don't cover them all. Yeah, because you got a lot of new champions lately. Should move on to silver named chests now, or wait to build up more electrums and save the silver and gold named chests for later? So I would recommend for these event champions, or just in general, like you can hold on to the named silver and golds you're getting, and just open electrums. Alternately, you could open electrums as you get them, and you could start opening silvers. The key is you want to at least hold on to your named golds until you have green or better gear. Otherwise, you're being inefficient with them. You can always open them early, but you are going to get potentially inefficient drops out of them. That's all I'm saying. Is usually people want to know, how do I efficiently get to good gear for champions, and holding those golds until you have green or better is the best. So yeah, you can get more electrums. There will be more next week. Every stream that CNE has is more, and there are other partnered streams like mine and other streamers. Like I stream on my channel, I give out Electrum codes. You can get them from there. There's a lot. There's usually 30 or more a week available. So waiting, and you can also open the silver named. That's fine, but it's more efficient to do the Electrums. But if you've got a lot of champions and they're spreading around a lot, you can just dive into the silvers after you've used them all. Tanner, I just got Karlach, but I'm not sure how best to gear up. We just talked about that. I don't have money to spend, so is the best way to do the event stuff related to her? Yes. Get Electrum chests and eventually do time gate content. Well, okay, so I'm going to take the time gate part off. Electrums, and do event free plays for Karlach. Like doing the variants and the event free plays for Karlach is how you get gear for event champions. Okay, Electrums are what, like I said, you just want to pop Electrums until you're at least green or better gear. Then you want to pop the named stuff. But especially hold on to the golds. Now, once the event is over, if you've got blue or better gear and you're working on getting to full epic, there are currently 2 ways that are available all the time to get more epics for event champions. One is to just go do their time gate. But that's not necessarily always the best use. That's not necessarily the best use of your time gate pieces early on in this game. Getting more champions and building up good parties is usually better than just getting more gear for a champion, like better gear for a champion. The other thing is opening patron chests that champion qualifies for. Yeah, those are the 2 ways that you get gear all the time, that you have available to you all the time. If that champion shows up in an event, that event is going to provide lots of chests for that champion that could get you more gear for them. And then the developers have been talking about lately that there are things coming to the game this year that they're February 8th. February 8th is apparently the day where they will be announcing things coming to the game and for this year, that are supposed to help people gear up, event champions. So don't worry if you said you're not at either patrons or time gates, don't even worry about them then. Right now, literally as a brand new player, getting to blue gear, which is totally doable during the event, gives you a solid champion. And I say this is because originally, we're going in the Wayback Machine now, back in my day, in year 1 of Idle Champions, there were no time gates, there were no patrons. The only way you could get gear for champions was from their event. Once the event was over, you were stuck with whatever you got until a year went by and the event arrived again. So we played with champions that had blue gear, 5 blue and 1 purple, and if you got lucky, you had 2 purples. Yay! Because there weren't really, you couldn't farm lots of bounty contracts back then. Like all that stuff wasn't a thing. And you have perfectly viable champions. And even now, when I'm doing new play accounts, getting to blue, I've artificially stopped myself at blue many times and kept doing things, and it's fine. Blue gear is kind of where the champions come online. Epic is your long-term goal. Sword Razor asked, best item shiny must get feet. And I'm assuming I can't assume. Sword Razor, which champion are we talking about? Because you didn't put that in your question. It has to be in the question because I'm not answering the question at the time you asked the question. I'm answering later, and I have no context now. So re-ask the question. with the champions we're talking about. Laughtall, I'm a new player. Welcome to the game. I just got the last of the event heroes. Awesome. Should I repeat them at discount? I think you're talking about season? Wait, I'm confused. I think you're talking about season champions, because you say, should I repeat them at a discount to purple their gear or unlock a different champion like Briv? I think what you're talking about is you just got the season champions. These. Seasons and events are two different things. These are seasons. This is the season champion. These are the event champions. And these you don't have time gate pieces on. And it sounds like this conversation is about spending time gate pieces. So, you just got all the season champions with time gate pieces. That's great. Should you repeat them for better gear? Heck no. We can say hell here. We go to hell in the game. Hell no. Avernus, no. 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 If you're a new player, you just picked up these 5 champions so that you could do these quests and get rewards, which include which include gear for those champions. Don't worry about them right now. Go get other champions. In fact, the first one you should go get is actually Strongheart, because Strongheart gives you extra credit when doing season stuff, so you're going to fly through that season stuff even faster. Strongheart is a great early pickup after your season champions with time gate pieces. We're talking about time gate pieces here. After Strongheart, if you want to go get Briv, I'm a hell yeah on that too. I'm a hell yeah there. I think Briv is a great early pickup, but season champions first to take advantage of getting all the great stuff in the season. Strongheart second, again, to take advantage of all this great stuff in the season, and then start doing, if you want to grab some strong speed champions, start picking up speed champions, because that's going to also help you hopefully get to split the party too. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Swordrazor was asking for Karlach. So best item shiny musket feed. Musket feed is taunt for Karlach. 400% self damage. Again, I'm talking about using Karlach as a DPS. If you're using Karlach for a tank, it's the health feats. Health and overwhelm are the feats that make her tanky. And then as a buffer, she's got a variety of support feats. Best item shiny, again, for a tank, the health item is usually your primary target on a tank, so that they have enough health to live through what's going on. With Karlach, the second shiny, the other shiny you'd want to prioritize is that ultimate cooldown reduction. Worn Shirt asks, I'm new, welcome, and one of the season quests is to use 25 potions. Yep. Mm-hmm. Which should I use to save the better potions for later when they'll help me more, and which are okay to use now with no worries? These small ones. These tiny little 5-minute ones. Kind of any of them. But here's the thing, potions don't matter at the start of an adventure except for click damage. Click damage, well, no. The potions don't really matter at the start of an adventure. So when you're a little further into your adventure, like closer to your wall, you can pop a little 5-minute potion and get some more gold, which is, help you with gold, fine. Get some more damage, health, and some more speed to make you move fast. Well, I would hold speed, maybe. I don't know, up to you. And then click damage will help you clear stuff off if you've got a familiar on the field and you're doing damage with your party. So just these tiny little ones. You get tons of those along the way. Yeah. If you have Strongheart, make sure Strongheart's in a party and you'll get extra credit for each potion you pop. Zeklane asks, Nahara says, cleared for the first time. Does this mean first time she is there or the first time ever on the account? First time she's there, like in the run you're on, not first time ever on your account. So if we're talking about... who am I? If Nahara is in the adventure when you complete an area for the first time. It's just like now I can't go back and get credit for her by going to area 1 because I already completed area 1. Like just coming back here and killing stuff doesn't matter, or killing a boss or whatever. To get her stacks, it needs to be whatever you need to complete actual new areas, and that's what it's talking about. Yeah, you're not punished by obtaining Nahara later on in your account progress. That would be a problem. That would be a bit of a problem. Jalondal didn't put question colon in front of this one. I'm going to answer it anyway, because we're done with the stream and I'm out of questions. Jalondal, would Human be a better pickup before Briv for a new player? It's dealer's choice. It's up to you. I personally like Briv better. I know the speed doesn't kick in as quickly with Briv as it does for Human, but but the reason I like Briv is Briv then becomes your main tank. Briv has a much bigger hunger for item levels than Human, so you can start dumping item levels on them earlier, and that's just going to make them tankier. It's also going to make their buff better. And you just basically, at that point, you'll have a tank that you will never have a problem pushing through all of the content as a new player with Briv, because Briv's going to tank everything that comes your way and be fine. Human's going to give you speed and a buff, and sure, that buff's going to get a little bit nicer and the speed is going to be a little faster, but you won't have a solid tank. I don't know. I like Briv better, recommended to start with. Other people recommend Human because they're like, but the speed's faster. If that's, it's fine. I think either way you're fine. I think you pick up Human and then you pick up Briv, or you pick up Briv and then you pick up Human, and then you do them both. ¿Por qué no los dos? Ultimately, right? All right. Oh, Tanarath. I answered this already, but I'll answer it again real quick because I can do it quick. Why should I save name chests till after using electrums? Does it affect chances for anything? If you go back and rewind, I explained, the first thing I explained about 30 minutes ago was the most efficient order for opening chests. Electrums first, period. It just is. Because otherwise electrums could go to anyone, and if you put gear on the champion first, then electrums don't have much of a chance to go there. But if they don't have any gear, it's like a funnel, and the electrums will funnel the gear onto the champion. All right, that's going to be it. We're out of time, folks. Sorry. If you have more questions, we are at the end of the show. This is the last stream for Cine Games this week. They'll be back on Tuesday. I, however, stream over on my channel, twitch.tv/Gaarawarr. They're here in chat. You click on my name and follow me over there. You can always ask questions over there, even if we're playing other games. I stream specifically Idle Champions on Monday and Wednesday on my channel. But then I also stream on Tuesday and Friday and Saturday. I'll be streaming later today. Should be streaming later today. In about an hour-ish. And right now we're playing some Disco Elysium, so you can hang out with us over there later if you'd like. Yeah, that's all. The song we're going out on is The Demon and the Witch, a song for Igwilv and Gratz. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Gabe, for grabbing all the questions. And I will see you later. Bye, everybody.
Hear the hideous laughter cackling through the trees. Don't you know what she's after? Love's a cruel disease. Smell that fire and brimstone. Sail around through the sky. Princely demon of pleasure. Lust is in his eyes. The choice not fair or wrong. The seed has been sown. Equal child of Baba Yaga, destroyer of your dreams, the guises of the worldly, what she seems. Evil, bound by evil, desire bound by strife, anger bound by hunger, lovers bound for life.